Psalm 120, verses 3 and 4. God's principle calls for an eye for an eye. Verses 3 and 4 of Psalm 120 asks, what shall be given to you, and what more shall be done to you, to your deceitful tongue? And then he answers, sharp arrows of the warrior, with the burning coals of the broom tree. The law of God calls for an eye, but the law of retaliation can be invoked in the case of a slanderer. But for the heart that is already dark, it would not suffer in retaliatory retribution. The wretched slanderer fights with weapons that are made invisible to the godly man. They remind us of the octopus who blankets himself in an inky blackness which honest men struggle to penetrate. The denigrator with the deceitful tongue emits a foul odor of deceit, which cannot be endured by the godly person. Hiding in the shadows enables the culprit to escape, unchastened by the injured. His crime becomes his shield. But God will deal with a lying tongue, and they will receive their due recompense with reciprocity as suitable punishment in a time of God's choosing. Their words were as arrows, and so shall their punishment be. God will see to it that their punishment shall be comparable to an arrow driven home with all of the force with which the penetrator and perpetrator employed. The slanderer shall feel woes comparable to the embers from the charcoal made from the root of the broom or the juniper tree, which are quick in flaming, fierce in blazing, and long in burning. He shall feel sharp arrows and sharper fires. All liars shall have their portion in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, where the worm of irritation does not quit, and the fire is not quenched. What an intense analogy. The coals made from the juniper tree are long-lasting and retain their heat. But the fires that will burn in hell burn for an eternity, and the deceitful tongue may not deceive itself with the hope of escape from the fire which is kindled. As they scatter the coals of fire, hot coals will be heaped upon their head. We read in Romans 12:20 through 21, but if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. For in doing so, you will be heaping fiery coals on his head. Do not be conquered by the evil, but conquer evil with good. It is as if he had said, the slanderer will receive the hottest coals, coals that maintain their heat the longest. This metaphor illustrates the hottest and lasting wrath of God against this form of wickedness. Retribution of the sharp arrows of the deceitful tongue will be met with quick and equal, swift, sure, and sharp judgment. It is better to be a victim of slander than to be an author of it. The shafts of denigration will miss the mark, perhaps, but not so with the arrow of God. The coals of malice will cool, but not the fire of justice. Shun slander as if you were to avoid hell. Some correspondence has frequently been observed between the transgression and the retribution. Similar figures are employed to express the offense and the punishment of the wicked. The spark of the coal will burn for an exceptionally long time when it is covered with the ashes, just like malignant slander.